Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing great and taking care of your health during this prevailing situation. I am Research Victoria Monwani from National Institute of Technology Araukela and the Department of Civil Engineering. In this video, I'll be giving a brief overview of one of the great leaders' autobiography, of which I picked to prepare my seminar and technical writing under the supervision of Professor Mahendra Gatu. The moral of this presentation is leadership in crisis situation, and I quote, "There is no investment you can make which will pay you so much well as the effort to scatter sunshine and good cheer through your establishment," said by Rosen Sweetmarden. The title of the book which I picked is Dreams from My Father, of which elaborates more about the story of race and inheritance. As a lot has not covered through this presentation, I thought it would be much wiser to give a list abstract of the book. Mr. Barack Obama described his confrontation with his shadow and describes his anger and confusion towards the journey of his manhood as he was trying to figure out which world does he belong to, the barrenness and incomplete circle he felt as he grew up, with the lack of his father's mentorship. He traces his journey from Hawaii to Indonesia and back to Hawaii, and from Hawaii to New York, and from New York to Chicago, from Chicago to Kenya, where he finally had to swallow the bitter truth about his roots, the truth that made him aware of whom really he was, that what he cared for was not just a matter of intellect or obligation. In this presentation, we will see list background of Mr. Obama, the origins of course as identified in the book, the leadership of which he technically practiced in Chicago, the truth and inheritance of course which he derived in Kenya, the challenges and actions that he went through and then the consequences of those actions, the insights and the lesson I've gained from this book. Who is Barack Obama? Barack Hussein Obama is an African-American politician and attorney, a graduate of Columbia University and Harvard Law School. He served as the 44th President of the United States from the year 2009 to the year 2017, being the first African-American to hold the office, of which of course he made the record about this achievement. As identified, he is the son of a black African father from Alego in Kenya and a white American mother from Wichita, Kansas. He was born 4th August 1961. The first part of this book elaborates more about Mr. Obama's upbringing, the racial issues, and his awkward footsteps towards his manhood. Mr. Obama never got a chance to know his father except in his imaginations from the stories he heard, as his father left to pursue his studies to Harvard from University of Hawaii and then left to Kenya, leaving them behind. Since his mother was still studying in Hawaii University, his maternal grandparents raised him for a few years. His mother got married to an Indonesian man, of which as a result they had to move to Indonesia, where he got exposed to the new life experience. Due to some certain circumstances, he was taken back to Hawaii, where he had to stay with his grandparents again. Technically, we can say he has been raised by his grandparents. Not so long when he was in Hawaii, his father paid him a visit along with his mother. During the time of his mother as well as his, racism was a serious issue. At some point, he will be facing it directly or indirectly, as it will be directed to some of black American kids. That made him to be so uncomfortable among white Americans. He had to grow and learn to live with it. Though he had lot of stories about his father, he never managed to figure out why his father never came back, why he never moved to Kenya with his father. It was until then his mother told him the truth that due to differences between their fathers, he had to divorce him, the father, of which the core factor was the matter of race. This racism issue left him between the horns of dilemma, as he belonged to two different worlds, which don't seem to come at the point of reconciliations. At some point, he will come to a point where he was striving to choose the side, but the question left for him, which side to choose. Circumstances gave him no answer, but the difficulties of combating prejudice and bigotry. While as he grew up, he kept in touch with his father through letter writing. His father would always leave some encouraging words for him, but one of which got stuck with him were, "Know where you belong." That is why sense of belonging. It is well believed that all men live in the shadow of their fathers. The more the distance, the deeper the shadow. All this gave him anger, as he didn't know where to start to know where he belonged. Emptiness, as he felt there's a lot missing about him. An incomplete circle, as he longed for his roots. In order to avoid the sellout through this anger, he thought of forgetting about this issue of who really he was, but at some point he will find himself tracked back to the inside doubt about himself, hence he couldn't run away from the truth. All this caught him during his adolescent stage, and he finally chose to move to New York, where he thought he can make himself of some importance and to be independent. That is why he came with the idea of being a community organizer, even though he had never seen anyone making a living out of it. The hope of his idea was to normalize the racial conflict. The figure on the right shows Orchard Gardens, which had environmental issues during Mr. Obama's project. While Chicago became the first place to practice his organizing idea under the mentorship of Mr. Marty, as referred in the book. Most of his ideas were the ideas for redemptions. Always he will see himself in other people's despair. And then most of his successful events he achieved because of the community support. Truth and inheritance. Well, it was time for Mr. Obama to face reality, the reality which he has been trying to escape all along. Mr. Obama anticipated his homecoming optimistically, equating it with the scenes in Alex Haley's popular book named The Roots. But on his arrival, all the myths of Africa and the folkloric tales of his father were quickly replaced by a more sober reality, as he learned of his father's drinking habits and his arrogance. During his time in Kenya, he visited his tribal land, meeting the new family, extended of course, swallowing the bitter truth about his father, as the story were narrated to him. The journey of forefathers and father, discovery of being trapped on his father's island, its features of anger and doubt and defeat. That was at this point he finally realized who really he was. What he cared for was no longer just a matter of intellect or obligation, no longer a construct of words. That was it, his inheritance. As we go through the book, we see the challenges he went through, most of which are racism, sense of abandonment, the rejections, and confusion and frustration. But all these challenges never defined him. Instead, he took action and then became so strong and managed to stand his ground whenever wherever required. Hope and honesty. In the situation where he will see that people are losing hope, he will be honest that even he doesn't know what to do, but with hope, at the end of the day, things will come together, things will come intact. And he was well determined about his project. The insights of the book. No matter how crooked the path can be for his journey, he found the means to survive without compromising his purpose. To him, good is never enough. Better strive for the best. He wants people to be part of the change we can believe in. Mr. Obama is a person of great humanity. What I've learned from this book is humanity brings unity. Have hope and believe in yourself. To burn in yourself is not anybody's choice, but to die in yourself, stand in your own hands. Don't let your background define you, because you are the change and then you can be the change. You are who you are. History is never the past, it is the present. We are living the history even though we can't realize it. Self-reconciliation plays a major part in our lives. One cannot be a leader with a wandering heart. Leadership does not come as a good fortune. One has to strive for it as you are going to go through trials and tribulation towards that success. Thank you. Thank you so much.